practice Chopin Study Opus 10 number 2. I already made a video on Chopin Study Opus 10 number 1 and the exercises that I use in order to be able to play it securely and comfortably, and you guys really liked it and asked for another video on a different study, so here we go. As I already said in my previous video, I think that practicing Chopin studies is one of the best things that you can do for your technique, to develop a really secure technique, and also in order to practice very different styles of technically difficult passages. Chopin studies are really ideal. So if you can, I would definitely recommend to practice one Chopin study every day or every other day. I really think that's going to develop your technique in a great way. So let's get started with Opus 10 number 2. I have 4 very simple exercises that I use. The key to these exercises being successful, just like in the previous video that I made with the first study, is that you have to be very consistent and that it's going to take a lot of time. These are not exercises that are going to help you learn the study within 2 days. Personally, I think that's almost impossible unless you're some kind of technical genius. But these exercises are definitely going to help you learn the study very securely within the course of, let's say, a couple of months or even half a year or even an entire year. These exercises are aimed at starting very slowly, right at the level that you're at the tempo that you're at, and gradually increasing. And I think this is really key with these studies because they are technically very hard and you have to give your muscles and your brain time to really process them. So you start slowly and then you slowly increase the tempo until you are at the final tempo. This study is all about the right hand and the chromatic scale, and specifically the chromatic scale with those 3 fingers. So not the usual fingering that one would use, but those 3 fingers, because the thumb and the second finger are just playing intervals, while the whole chromatic scale is happening with 3, 4, and 5. This entire study is focused on being able to kind of split your hand here and have those 3 fingers be independent from those 2 fingers. And this is why the first exercise actually is to leave out those 2 fingers and just practice those 3. So what I do is I basically take the entire study, divide it up into little pieces. I start with literally just 4 notes and then practice it slow and then fast with the metronome. And as I already said with Opus 10 number 1, I start out in a very, very slow tempo when you begin. Like I started out with, the end tempo is 144. I started out with maybe 80 or 90. And of course now I'm doing it in the final tempo, but this is not how you should start. So you start in the tempo that you feel comfortable in. You play 4 notes slowly and then 4 notes fast. And then you continue, then you do half a bar, 8 notes. And then you do the entire bar, 16 notes. And then you do 2 bars. The next exercise is basically the same thing that I just showed you, but with the intervals. And here again, you start with very little sections and you make them bigger and bigger and also increase the tempo more and more. The important thing here really is to have those fingers be independent from each other. So when you practice just the upper voice, try for those two fingers to be as relaxed as possible. Try for them not to start going up, for example, and tensing up, but for them to be completely relaxed so that when you play the intervals, it's just one little touch and then they're loose and you can really focus on the actually hard stuff, which is the upper voice. The next exercise is playing the left hand separately. And this sounds kind of stupid because the left hand is so easy in this study, but trust me, it will really, really help you if you can play the left hand securely by heart and basically blindly, because you're going to be so preoccupied with that right hand. You really want your left hand to know what it has to do blindly without even looking. And this is why I consciously always practice the left hand in the tempo. I play the entire study left hand only by heart so that I really feel that my left hand knows where it has to go independently. And then the final exercise is put both hands together and play it in sections. I don't do the slow fast thing, I just do it fast right away. So, I mean, again, fast in the tempo that you are. And then in the end, you do a run through. So there you have it. Those are my 4 very simple exercises that will basically help you learn the study Opus 10 number 2, and that will help you play it very securely if you just invest the time and consistency that you need to invest in these studies. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!